doing is almost exactly like what you're doing.
Definitely, because when they generate, they look at our piece, they'll generate their paint master, and then it goes into production onto the line. So we definitely have to keep an eye, do QC, follow up on what's going on overseas, and making sure their paint is matching our paint to the best of their ability. And they do some amazing work. Sometimes it's a little bit tough too, but the results, speak for themselves.
Yeah. What's your favorite to work on? What's been one of your favorite pieces?
Recently, I worked on one of our HRD here, alien busts. I always have fun painting that stuff, and I think that one was really enjoyable. But I'm hard pressed to say which one is my favorite. There's a lot of them. It's like kids, like
And it's something like you said you've been doing since you were a little kid, and now it's something that you get to not only do for a living, but also to share with the world.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Anthony,
thank you.
for sharing a bit of your painting process and what goes into to bring these to life.
Yeah.
And we'll have more amazing behind-the-scenes look at Sideshow Collectibles on Tesla.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel right there on the link. I'm Norm. We'll see you next time. Which is it's a wax-based, sulfur-based clay. It's a plastilina. Just has sulfur in it. That's my clay of choice, but water-based moves really quickly. It's cheap. It's readily available to anywhere around the world, which is really nice if you're just getting going. I'm going to take you through the whole process, building an armature from the stand to the hardware, and just a simple idea. Anything will work. You can just do something very simple with wood and wire, even pieces of garbage. We'll be using paper. I'll walk you through every single piece of materials that you're going to need. And we're going to be providing reference. So you can look at the photos of the model that we will be working from. But I really encourage you to do this process from life. Doesn't matter who it is, as long as they can sit still. I recommend sculpting from somebody from life. The only other tool that you're going to need is a pair of calipers, and I'll be walking you through step by step how to use these off of a live model and transferring measurements and so forth from the model to your sculpture. Other than that, it's really a great exercise for beginners to do something at a very large scale because you can get your hands in on it. It's a great scale. If you haven't done any sculpture at all, I highly recommend that you go back and take a look at the videos of the beginning, the geometric shapes that I demonstrated in some other video lessons. So we go through all the solids. I recommend you go through all of them. Even if you have some experience, I recommend that you go through all of it, especially the bell pepper. It's a great lesson. Very, very difficult. If you can't get the bell pepper, you're not going to be able to get this. Okay, all of the intricacies, all of the complexities that you're going to find in a organic shape and an anorganic shape like a bell pepper are going to be found in the face. Actually, I dare to say that it could be even a little bit more difficult than the face. Okay, so go back, do all of the beginning lessons, all the geometric solids, bell pepper, then the portrait. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is set up an armature. I'm going to show you from scratch, first starting with a piece of board. It doesn't have to be melamine. It can be any kind of plywood or whatever. I like this because it doesn't bow. If you get a piece of plywood as it gets wet using water-based clay, what we're going to be using today, it'll tend to bow. So I recommend something like this. This is a waterproof barrier to the wood. So first we're going to be starting with the model to prep the armature to make sure that we get it to the right height. And that way we're not going to run into mistakes or create things that'll have to be fixed later on. So the first tool we'll be using, I'm going to introduce you to all the tools right now, is just 1-to-1 calipers. Okay, so we take a measurement. That means it's going to stay the same scale. So if I take a measurement off the model, I come over here, it's going to be the exact same measurement. Okay, we'll use these as we're building the armature. Okay, so we have a board, a sculpting modeling stand, clips. Okay, these are really important. You want to make sure the board and the sculpture don't go flying off as you spin it around. Usually you can get these at any hardware store. They'll look something like this. It's just a hand. It doesn't even have to be this kind. It can be the little C-clamps that have a screw, so you can screw it down. It doesn't matter, any kind of clamp. The C-clamps are a little nicer because they don't stick out far like this. they just they have a nice clean profile. This is a floor flange. You can find this at a hardware store too.
It's a train checked in. I mean, Dominic checked in.
Usually be where the black pipe is, or the gas pipe. So we're just gonna mount this in the middle of the core.
No.
Okay, 4 screws.